Sufism, often described as the mystical dimension of Islam, represents a spiritual path that seeks closeness to God through inward purification, devotion, and love. While Sufism has captivated hearts around the world with its poetry, music, and spiritual teachings, its relationship to mainstream Islam is complex and often misunderstood. Some see it as the very heart of Islam, emphasizing the inner journey toward the divine, while others criticize it as a deviation from orthodox doctrine. Sufism did not emerge outside of Islam, it was born within it, shaped by the teachings of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad. Its earliest practitioners were devout Muslims who sought a deeper, more intimate connection with God, Allah, beyond legalistic and formal religious practice. These individuals emphasized zuhd, asceticism, taqwa, God consciousness, and dhikr, remembrance of God, laying the groundwork for what would become organized Sufi thought. Sufism is often structured as a spiritual path, tariqa, that the disciple, murid, follows under the guidance of a spiritual master, sheikh or pir. This journey involves various stages of the soul and stations of spiritual development, aimed at achieving union or nearness to God, qurb. Sufism developed within both Sunni and Shia frameworks and has been embraced in diverse Islamic traditions. Major Sunni scholars such as Al-Ghazali, 1058–1111 CE, often called the Proof of Islam, argued that Sufism was essential to deepening one's faith. In his monumental work Ihya Ulum al-Din, Revival of the Religious Sciences, Al-Ghazali reconciled Sufi spirituality with Sunni orthodoxy, cementing its place in mainstream Islam. In Shia Islam, especially among Twelvers and Ismailis, mysticism also played a key role. The emphasis on divinely inspired imams, esoteric knowledge, batin, and the inner meaning of religious texts parallels many Sufi ideas. Some Sufi orders, like the Nimatrali and Dahabiya, have strong Shia influences. Despite its deep roots in Islam, Sufism has faced criticism from Salafist and Wahhabi movements, especially since the 18th century. These groups argue that Sufi practices such as saint veneration, shrine visitation, ziyarah, and music are innovations, bid'ah, and distract from pure monotheism, tawhid. In contrast, Sufi scholars argue that spiritual intercession, reverence for the Prophet, and poetry celebrating divine love are in line with Islamic tradition and enrich the inner life of believers. Moreover, Sufi saints often resisted colonialism, preached compassion, and served the poor, roles admired by many Muslim communities. In the modern era, Sufism faces both challenges and revival. On one hand, modernist and puritanical Islamic movements criticize Sufi practices as outdated or heretical. On the other hand, many Muslims, especially in regions like Turkey, Iran, Indonesia, and Pakistan, continue to find spiritual nourishment in Sufi traditions.